There's a strange moment that happens to all of us when someone irritates you for no logical reason. Maybe it's the way they talk, their arrogance, their carelessness, their need for attention. You feel a sharp reaction, something primal and immediate. You tell yourself, I just can't stand people like that. But what if that reaction isn't really about them? What if it's a mirror? Carl Jung, one of the founding fathers of psychology, called this the shadow, the hidden side of the psyche that holds everything we refuse to see in ourselves. The shadow principle says that the traits you despise in others are often the very traits buried within you. It's not an insult, it's a revelation. Because once you understand it, you unlock one of the most powerful truths about human nature. You can't heal what you won't own. From childhood, we learn what's acceptable and what's not. If you were praised for being kind, polite, and responsible, you learned to hide your anger, selfishness, or need for attention. If you were admired for being strong, you buried your vulnerability. Slowly, the mind builds a mask called the persona, the version of yourself you show the world. It's clean, polished, and socially acceptable. But what happens to the rest? The impulses, emotions, and traits that don't fit the image? They don't disappear. They sink into the unconscious, forming your shadow self, a hidden psychological storage unit for everything your ego rejects. And like all repressed energy, it doesn't stay quiet forever. The shadow expresses itself through projection. When a quality within you is too uncomfortable to acknowledge, your mind unconsciously projects it onto others. You spot it in them, judge it in them, and fight it in them, all while denying it in yourself. That's why some people trigger you so intensely. They activate a part of you that you've buried. The irony is painful. You're not reacting to them, you're reacting to you, the parts of yourself you've disowned. The traits you hate most in others are often the mirror reflections of the traits you refuse to face. This is why self-righteousness can be dangerous. When you tell yourself, I'd never be like that, your ego feels morally superior, but your subconscious knows better. The very intensity of your judgment is often proof of identification. It's your psyche's way of saying, there's something here for you to look at. Jung once said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. In other words, your triggers are teachers, uncomfortable but necessary. To understand the shadow, you have to see that the mind isn't built for purity. It's built for balance. Every positive quality you have comes with a hidden opposite. Your kindness can hide suppressed anger. Your confidence can mask insecurity. Your ambition can disguise fear of inadequacy. The goal isn't to get rid of the shadow, it's to integrate it. Because wholeness isn't light without darkness. It's light that knows its darkness and still chooses to shine. But why do we resist this so much? Because facing the shadow feels like betrayal. The ego, the image we hold of who we are, thrives on consistency. To admit that we carry selfishness, envy, or cruelty feels like tearing down our identity. So we deny it, and instead, we externalize it. We say, that person is toxic, or people like that are the problem. And in doing so, we outsource accountability. But here's the paradox. The more you project, the more power your shadow gains. Every time you reject it, it grows louder, seeking expression through anger, anxiety, or even self-sabotage. Projection isn't just philosophical, it's biological. When someone triggers you, your amygdala, the brain's threat center, lights up. It can't tell the difference between external threat and internal conflict. The discomfort you feel is your psyche defending its self-image. That's why triggers feel so physical. A rush of heat, tension in your chest, a racing heart. It's your body saying, there's something unresolved here. The moment you bring curiosity instead of judgment to that feeling, you begin integration. So how do you work with the shadow instead of against it? Start with radical self-honesty. When someone bothers you, instead of asking, what's wrong with them? Ask, what part of me feels threatened by this? Maybe the person's arrogance bothers you because you've been trained to hide your own need for recognition. Maybe someone's laziness frustrates you because you've buried your own desire for rest under perfectionism. The moment you recognize this, something shifts. You reclaim the energy you've projected outward. You stop fighting ghosts and start understanding yourself. Shadow work doesn't mean excusing toxic behavior or justifying harm. It means using your emotional reactions as signposts. Every strong judgment points to a hidden wound. The anger you feel towards someone else might actually be anger toward the part of you that resembles them. By owning that, you remove the emotional charge. You free yourself from projection's control. The people who used to trigger you become mirrors that reveal your unfinished work. The more you integrate your shadow, the more whole you become. And with wholeness comes power, the kind that's grounded, not performative. Because when you stop running from your darkness, you stop being manipulated by it. You start responding instead of reacting. You find compassion for others because you faced your own contradictions. You realize that every human being, no matter how evolved, carries a shadow. The difference between the wise and the unaware isn't who has one, it's who's willing to face it. Here's a truth that feels like heresy to the ego. The traits you hate in others are clues to your own potential. Hidden in your judgments are undeveloped strengths. That arrogance you despise, it might point to your suppressed confidence. That selfishness you condemn, it could be your buried need for self-respect. That emotional intensity you label as too much, it might mirror the passion you've been afraid to express. Integration doesn't mean becoming like the people you dislike. It means reclaiming the parts of yourself you've exiled. One of Jung's greatest insights was that the shadow is not purely negative. It's creative energy in disguise. When you suppress anger, you also suppress assertiveness. When you bury envy, you bury ambition. When you deny fear, you deny courage. Your shadow contains the raw, unfiltered version of you, the wild potential that polite conditioning tamed. Facing it isn't about becoming darker, it's about becoming real. As you learn to integrate your shadow, life begins to feel less chaotic. Triggers lose their sting. People stop getting under your skin because there's less in you that's unacknowledged. You no longer see enemies everywhere. You see reflections. Judgment transforms into understanding. The world stops feeling like an arena of conflict and starts feeling like a mirror of consciousness. You begin to experience what Jung called individuation, the process of becoming whole. There's freedom in admitting, I have a shadow, because the moment you own it, it stops owning you. The people who trigger you become guides instead of enemies. The qualities you once hated become signals for growth, and the life you once spent managing appearances becomes a life of integration and authenticity. The next time someone irritates you, pause. Instead of reacting, ask yourself, what is this showing me about me? It's a simple question with revolutionary power, because beneath every judgment is a lesson in disguise. The shadow principle isn't about guilt, it's about liberation. It's the art of seeing yourself fully, without denial or shame, and realizing that even your darkness is trying to bring you back to light. That's not self-condemnation, that's self-ownership, and it's the beginning of real freedom.